ladies and gentlemen, to V8 Vet Split 3 Kitchen. I'm John Van Ree. With me at the moment, I've got Mark Dial and Michael Yeo. How are we, boys?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
Excellent, John. How are you?
Not too bad. Round 3 from Monza. Going to be a bit of an epic one. A few boys out in the chat. G'day to all those. Got Hughesy, Will Munro, Steve Murray, Pato out there as well as Mr. Dial himself. Let's have a quick look at this track. I don't think it needs too much explanation to many of the boys floating around. Start on the long start finish straight where we deviate off the old original banked oval into variant the Rettifilio. So in through turn 1 and 2, where we then come around through Curva Bassano, otherwise known as Curva Grande, where then we sweep back around into the variant Della Roggia. So fast flowing chicane there at 4 and 5. Then we go through the first Lesmo, second Lesmo, and then down the back straight all the way to the variant Ascari through 8, 9, and 10. And then we accelerate then down the next back straightaway where we rock up to Curva Parabolica, otherwise known as Alberto. I've had a mental blank. Mozzarella, Monterelli, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, it's got a new name. How are we, Dave? How are you going? Dave Arnie's joined us as well. And as we go off back down out of the Parabolica, back on the start finish straight. So very short track. How are you, Ben Anthony? No, I'm stuck in Albury Wodonga with work commitments instead of on a very cold mountain up the hill. And anyway, we might have a quick look at the start grid as well. We'll bring that up for everyone to have a look at. And of course, we have on pole Fishy Motorsports Jason Chin, and alongside him, Synergy Sim Racing's Pete Kelleher. So great to see the pink rocket on the front row. And then in third spot, we've got Simrig Infinity Motorsports Wayne Shepherd alongside Nick Hasler from Angry Birds Racing. We've got Marty Hughes and Ed Fox sharing the third row, and then Accelerate Sim Racing's Mick Clifton in seventh. And then Matt Stoyles from EWR GMK Logistics in 8th. Jamie Peters from Simrig Infinity Motorsports in 9th. Jason Dunn from SAR in 10th. And then in 11th, we have Bruce McLeod from Shadow Racing alongside Mike Yeo from Shadow Racing as well in 12th. And then in the next row in 13th was Rob Visor alongside WKMP's John Van Ree. 15th, Old Mates and Sons, Shane Patterson alongside Player One Supremo, Neil Waters. Simon Clapham in 17th alongside Player One's Brendan Zatera in 18th. Joseph Grenshaw was 19th alongside Player One's Jeff Sanford in 20th. 21st was Dag Racing's Andrew Galley alongside Old Mates and Sons Fletcher Christensen. Adrian Zeal back in 23rd alongside Andrew Johnson in 24th. And keep rolling on the grid. Another big grid for split 3. Jeff Eddy from 126 in 25th. Matt Beale from Player One in 26th. Darren Walden from Angry Birds in 27th. Phil Marsh in 28th. Sean Slater back in 29th. Dave Baldock in 30th. Carl Peckering was 31st. Di Feldman was 32nd for iDrive Sim Training. Anita Buckland from Old Mates and Sons was 33rd. Tim Vermey from WKMP in 34. Runner the Brother winning the Brother Wars against Darren in 35th. Accelerate Sim Racing Greg Favell was our race control, and he was partnered with Anthony Visma, and Mark Dye was our safety car. Mike Coroliff didn't set a time. Lucas Burt didn't set a time. Dave Galley didn't set a time. Jeff Richardson didn't set a time, and Greg Sholton didn't set a time. So 40 drivers on the grid, guys. That is pretty impressive.
A big grid. Fantastic.
It was.
Yeah, very impressive indeed.
It certainly had us shaking their boots going into turn 1, I can tell you.
Yeah, definitely. And a big shout out to everyone else in the chat now. So we might light the wick on this one, boys. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sounds good. Jason was super quick all practice in this one, so well done to him on pole.
And if you're still out there, Brenton O'Brien, just drop in the green room somewhere or even race control and I'll drag you in. Next one I'm going to say, just why I've got that graphic up. Is it just me, or should we be calling Nick Hasler Garth Tander?
Yeah.
Garth Tander Senior. You talk about everyone fearing turn 1 here. It's actually turn 2 I'm more afraid of on lap 1.
You got to get in first. You got to get to it first.
Because at least turn 1 has some escape.
Yeah, technically, I think it's more you just call it turn 1 because it's 1, 2, basically the same corner. It's just a left-right combination.
No, I'm sorry. I mean 3, 4. I mean the second chicane is where I'm more concerned about, to be honest.
It kind of gives everyone time to beat you around a little bit, slow you up, and
and those high curbs just give you a lot less options.
Yeah, it tightens up really quickly.
And we just answering someone's question. It'll be 1 second. And we might just like to work on this and get this going. So you've probably already got a bit of an idea something's going to happen. I just drag him. Our Sprit 1 driver, Mr. Brenton O'Brien. How are you, Brenton? Marty Hughes is in here as well. How are we, lads?
Pretty good.
Good to see. We might like to work on this one, boys, and get it started. And let's see how a Fishy and an SSR car can get off the line. And got my sound up and we're away. And why have I got any sound? It's coming now. They've gotten away fairly well. So all fairly well down into the first turn. And 3 wides, never going to work well. Oh. It's Nick Hasler with a bit of trouble there. Managed to get it going. Nicely stays out of the way, and I think everyone else back in the pack there have all stayed in line. But it's Jason Chin that has got the jump on everybody here and got a really good start.
At least he landed on his feet.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't land on his feet. It definitely would have been a safety car. But, yeah, Jason's off to a good start. Pete Kelleher's done well. He's managed to tuck through. Jamie Peters up 4 spots already. So he's the big winner out of the rollover.
I don't know. I'm looking at the guy in P8. He's gained 6 spots. He seems awfully quiet about it.
Sorry.
These things happen.
Yeah, I went from 12th to, I think, 7th or 8th, and then back to 14th in 2 turns.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody was going slow, so I managed to get on the inside of him, and then I think I got to about the 300 board, and I went, okay, I'm just going to cruise in here. And all of a sudden, the path just opened up in front of me, and I was through.
Yeah, I think I did 2.5 slow down.
Yeah, that's the one that hurts.
Yeah, I just got out of the way, served it, and got on with it.
Which is probably the right way to do it. Here we go, a little bit of moving down the straight. Nothing wrong with that, just trying to fight the slipstream.
Well, surprisingly, I didn't, you had to be pretty close to even really feel the slipstream, I think more closer than like 0.3 or 0.4.
Yeah, I think you can notice you got it when you're about 0.9. You can notice you get a slow catch in, but not enough to really feel it suck on until you get to that 0.3, 0.4.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. If someone wasn't more than a second behind, I was still worried about them because you're still towing them around.
Yeah.
Man. That was always the worry. Some good battles a bit further back. Joseph Granshaw here having a great little tussle here with Mike Korolev. So Mike up 18 spots at this stage.
Got to keep an eye on young Michael.
Oh, yeah.
This was his first laps in practice, was pretty much the race. He did qualifying in the race. That was his practice for the week because he comes down from Brisbane, went to the MCG to watch the AFL Grand Final and just got back.
Yeah, and then got back on the Sunday. There he goes. Walk off to the grass, back on the Sunday, and then straight into the Pro Series RC room.
Yep. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And wasn't he celebrating his anniversary as well?
That was today, I think, or yesterday. Yeah. It's lovely
Yeah.
wife Jody.
Yeah.
Yeah, sucked in the middle of it. Jump back up. Jamie Peters on the move now. He's right up behind Ed Fox. Sorry, Jason Dunn, and Jamie Peters. So this is a great little battle up front here. I sort of didn't have the legs to hang on to it, but it was nice watching it.
Is the 313 and the 950, are they in DPR or they just got stim rigs on the side of their car? Do we know?
No, that is Simrig Infinity Racing.
Ah, very good.
So that is Will Munro and Hamish Munro's team.
Really good to see that.
Yeah. So they've got sim rigs on board, which is good to have in the league. And
I mean, the current paints look pretty crazy. Just makes the series even right through from S1 to S3.
yeah,
All the paints look really good.
I remember when I joined iRacing way back when, and I just assumed everybody would paint their cars to look like the real cars, but it's so much better that they don't. They do come out with some cracking paints. Oop.
Mike Corraleff was a bit of a king of that. God, did he do some paints back in the day? They were amazing.
Mike Corraleff did?
Yeah, absolutely. He's an insane painter.
Really?
Yeah.
Took Mike down as more of a finger painter, but there you go.
No, he did. OSR, in the OSR days, back in the early days, he painted all our OSR cars and a lot of other cars as well. He's pretty good at it.
Many talents, young Michael.
it's always surprises us. So, a couple of little battles. Pete Kelleher now under a bit of pressure. Wayne Shepherd on the move.
Pete would have been pretty happy with his pole position.
Pete, yeah, I reckon he would have been ecstatic being on the front row.
Yeah.
I believe he's trying to emulate his brother-in-law. That's what it's all about.
Who's his brother-in-law?
A good mate of yours.
Jordan.
Yep, Jordan Ross.
The things you got to do to get in SSR, eh?
Yep. And believe it or not, it was myself who organised the paint for him because Jordan wouldn't give him the yellow one that he had last season and wouldn't give him the pink one either. So it was basically, it's been a bit of artwork organised by Hobbo and myself.
He takes that corner like Jordan as well.
Just commentator's curse, just stuffed him right up.
There we go. Pete's actually in the chat saying he was Raptor on the front row. Yeah, good competitor, Pete. Had plenty of good battles with him over the last few seasons. Just glad he's gone away from that brown yellow thing that Jordan was racing. I think when Pete first turned up with that, he put it in the wall first race, second race and third race. And then when we got him back into the tennis ball, he was okay. So he was definitely cursed by Jordan, I think.
Many have before and will be in the future as well.
And Dunny on the move in the background there. Dunny sitting behind watching. He likes to do that. Throw it out. Show everyone I'm there.
He's got a bit of pace about him.
Yeah.
Can I be that guy and ask where the link is for the broadcast? I'm just going off your feed in Discord.
The link for the broadcast is in the YouTube. It's in, if you go to broadcast in Discord, you'll find it up in there, in the Vets Discord. Pete's under trouble from Dunny here. Hey, Pete, absolutely on a fly on lap 5.
Yeah, and already on lap 5, fuel strategies sort of started to come into play. You know, that was. I know my brain was ticking over.
Yeah, as you can see in the background there, I'd sort of dropped off this train here and I was already starting to think that I needed to get... I didn't want to slow down to hook up with someone else behind me So I basically thought I would, when we get to the first stop, I'll put a hell of a lot more fuel in than what I was planning, and hoping it would drop me back into another pack that I would jump at the next stop with a lot shorter stop in terms of with the fuel. So yeah, you weren't wrong, Michael. The brain does tick over with compulsory 2 stops.
Absolutely.
We were definitely talking about it as well, and I've started doing your trick, John, and running my SDK so I can actually see where the pit out is on the map. So I was looking at this point. I was thinking and looking at the fact that I dropped out of Mike's draft. I was looking there's a nice empty hole, and I decided to jump in pretty quickly here. So yeah, I'm just out on the draft here. I was sort of looking at if I can stay in draft, I'll stay there. But if I drop out of it, then I'll sort of think about going in earlier. I think it's this lap.
I think it is this lap. Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I kept looking later on. So you basically filled it right up, Bruce?
No, not right up. I left. I took 90 litres.
90.
So I left a bit of cap up top.
Yep.
Just if there was a safety car or whatever, I wanted to be able to give a chance to come and do the second CPS and top it up as well. If it was a one-stop race and there wasn't 2 CPSs, yes, I absolutely would have filled it. But with 2 stops, it was just left a bit of space for the second stop.
Wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a one-stopper if it was a choice.
Oh yeah.
With a bit
I
of
think
fuel
the 2
saving,
stops just add so much more though, makes the racing better.
Yeah, it's tactical. It comes down to a bit of tactics. And if you have a bit of a bad start in the first opening laps, then you've got a chance to, like John said, create a bit of room for yourself, jump on the back of another pack and then get back into it. And if that pack flows, which it did, most of packs did, you stood to make up some positions. Oh, there we go.
Speaking of others, David flying around.
Yeah.
I know.
No, look, I just think I found the other system we used, you basically just put in your fuel, you worked out there was a gap of about 4 or 5 laps of strategy. Unless you had an accident or an incident, then you worked out your earliest to get home. And then that was about it in terms of strat, where this just really just throws it right open.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally just looking at the lap data before this, and I can see most people sort of were going for the 2-stop sort of minimum fill type strategy and stopping at different points. That's what the majority seem to be. But I think the other thing that I was thinking about as well, and then this is obviously a rolling the dice thing, earlier stop with a bigger fuel gives you more options in the safety cars as opposed to less.
Yeah.
So it's that trade-off, right? So do you give yourself more options or not? So it's all interesting. There's definitely a lot of dice rolling going on.
Some tracks really favour, light fuel loads, like Monza's one of them. Bathurst, certainly they favour the light fuel load as well. And yeah, Monza, if you're going to take on less fuel, you can move up the pack and be with a faster pack and use their draft. And that's what I tried last night, but for some reason my car didn't take fuel and I was sitting there for 9.5 seconds until it started filling up. But it is what it is, but it's been working quite well of late.
So what I found, in testing that we did some light run and some heavy run testing, and we found that we didn't lose that much lap time with a heavy load. So it was definitely an option. I wasn't concerned about running heavy. Running heavy doesn't worry me. What I'm more concerned about is running out of tyres towards the end of the stint. So I was also thinking about take the pain early to have a nice fresh car at the end.
And that last dash of fuel, well, I didn't get a last dash. I just filled up completely and made the tyres last. But yeah, tyres came into play as well for sure. Here especially.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to burn the rears up around this place.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting too is it's not wear either, it's actual carcass temperature, which you can't see, and how that comes up. Because my tyres are towards the end of my longest in here, they had like 88%, or I think it was 83 was the worst I had, which isn't that much wear, but geez, they're definitely gone. There's no question about it. So they're definitely cooked. Speaking of cooking, here's Mike having a look up the inside.
Yeah, I just sort of started putting a bit of pressure on Simon, and Yeah, he finally just went so deep that he lost the rear end.
Mind punt.
Yeah, it's about putting pressure on people. It was really the easiest way to get past.
Well, without, sort of forcing your way, but make them look in the mirror and then they miss their brake point or whatever, We all had it. I mean, other people were behind me, and I'm sort of like looking, and I miss mine and have to go back an extra gear or whatever.
Two-player, one car's running together.
You've got that.
This can only mean one thing.
I'm sort of glad you changed our paint job to red, because every time these cars used to go around, I used to think it was one of our team going past me.
Well, that was part of the reason for the change.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to look too familiar.
Yeah, I just started playing around this week with a potential option for next season, and the boys are like, no, just chuck it on now. And then they're like, you didn't tint the back window, so I had to charge them an extra $500 per car for that, because it was darkest legal, and they wanted to go darker, so they had to pay a special fee.
Yeah, and that's the bribe to the authorities.
Of course, if you went to Quantum, I'd put the tint in for you.
Yeah, it's interesting because the alpha channel in the cars. You see here on the Player One cars how their windows are black because they haven't cut the alpha channel out and put it. So that's why they're all black. So it's tricky to get your head around that in the paint once you do. It's interesting. But on the Commodore, you can't paint the front window, but you can tint the rear window.
Yeah,
which is weird. And they're rendered differently. That's why I was going, you've got no glass in your rear windows.
If you have a close look at ours, you'll see in the rear windows there's a flamingo. See if I can. It's hard to see on the Mustang. Where's one of the Vermeers might have it, I think. No, where's Darren? See if I can get a close up. You'll just see it in the back window there, in the back quarter panel. Back quarter window. There's a flamingo.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Very cool.
Dave Worrell special.
Meanwhile, out at front, he's just running away.
Sheppy tucked in nice behind. Ed Fox coming for the journey. Done about 1.6 back and catching. And you can see Jason getting a bit loose there.
Yeah, his tyres are starting to say hello.
So it's interesting. One of the phrases I keep talking about in our Discord is split 2.5. And there really is this group, because we were chatting with people. We're not sure where he qualified in split 2. We'll leave that for the split 2 broadcast. But his time would have put him right up the front of split 3. So it's interesting. There definitely is that gaggle of about 15 cars, I think, in each split. The top of split 3 and the bottom of split 2 that are very tight in competition.
Yeah.
And that'd make for an awesome split in itself, like you say.
Well, going back to the ranking system of pre-qual, the top 10 in split 2, the bottom 10 in split 1, and then the same thing between 2 and 3. You're literally talking decimal points in rankings, splitting them all. Like it is that close between those groups. It's not funny. So I kind of refer to it as the plug and play. You can plug the top 10 in of split 3 in for the bottom 10 of split 2, and you're still going to have just as competitive racing in that split.
Because it was interesting here on the podcast about them talking about pro split and putting a fourth split up the top. That's not where I think the fourth split should happen. If they ever go to four splits, I think it should be between split 2 and split 3. That's where the fourth split should go.
Yeah, that's pretty much what will happen. It'll just be a fourth standard split. I think going to a pro splits is going to be another level too difficult, and then going to 4 splits, we've just got to get ourselves on top of our race control, which becomes an army when you start talking 4 splits, as everyone feels in.
I think if iRacing lifts their game and fixes the safety car, so you don't have to drive it. You can actually use the iRacing one.
Mm.
And there's a whole heap of feature requests that I'll put in around that. We'll see if they ever come to light of day. I do have a line into the CEO of iRacing, which is see if we can get it through to him. And we're trying to do that. And if that happens, then if you don't need safety car drivers, there's enough RC for another split. Right,
Yeah.
with the same amount of people that we have. So
Oh, there's some smoke. There's a big lockup.
Yeah.
the other topic that iRacing we're talking about was, as someone was asking, implementing flat spots.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
You'd love that, wouldn't you, John?
Yep. All I know is that I was talking to my spotter at the time, going, oh shit, and closed my eyes because I thought I was done. I seriously thought I was going into the rear of Matt.
Oh, here we go.
That was a bit of lap traffic, I think, in the middle there.
So I think this race is also proving why Sandown will never be on the calendar again. If I have anything to do with it, and I have a bit to do with it. It's just too small. Like you can tell the difference here. The with a longer lap time and the room for the cars to stretch their legs, it's much cleaner racing.
Yeah. So when you think about it too, say with 144, which is what we've got at the moment, across 3 splits, we went and we've got at the moment as we sit, I think without chasing too hard, I know we have 4 on the waiting list. And then I also know we have probably another half a dozen that are probably sitting out there that haven't put their name on a waiting list as Matt goes in. I go in as 2, I think.
Yep.
And
You're
Andrew.
almost out of fuel by now.
Yeah, we all are. They might pick up Ed Fox. What I was going to say was, we're just basically, I think we're going to wind up with like 150, 160 drivers. So you're still going to be running around with 40 cars in each split.
Yeah.
And
Oh, look out. It's all wide.
taking a long way in.
Yeah. I think I got to slow down from that by the look of it.
Yeah. Here comes Sheppy. Tucked right up behind Pete, so then continuing the battle. Yeah, so what I was about to say was, and everyone's been saying, oh, big splits, big net code. We had 9 cars in a race the other night in one of the other series I'm involved in, and we still had big net code. So, I just think big splits, big net codes doesn't really cut it. I think it's just a genuine iRacing issue, and that's a great pass there by Sheppy, if he gets it done.
Yeah, if he gets it done, I think he's going to get hung out to dry.
Yeah, I don't think that much the extra cars adds that much data.
Yeah.
Like when you think, for example, that just for the track, this track is broken down into cells, and every single cell of the track gets passed to every single driver. Just having a couple more cars on track is not going to be the netcode issue. It's more the latency between, and that's less of an issue for us here when we're all in Aussie servers. We're all Aussies, except for our friends that are just waking up for breakfast in New Zealand.
Mr. Johnston.
Then it's the latency. It's the my machine thinks I'm here and your machine thinks I'm there because you can't outrun the speed of light.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Isn't it the worst time for that is when we're all on the grid at once, because then you've got all the cars in view.
That is from a video point of view, but not from a rendering point of view, because there's so many objects, especially the more cars you have turned on to render. That affects your frame rate, but netcode really is just primarily GPS position for 64 cars, so it's a tiny amount of data really. In
He's trying to have another go down the outside this time.
Ed Fox rolling in. Now Jason Chin is our race leader. And we still keep this Sheppy battle going. Lap 13.
Jason's got some fresh boots now, but they're a little bit older.
Where's Jeff? How's he getting on? He's tied up in a great little battle here. Still a couple of player 1 cars in close proximity. Marsha asking about points. Season points, you'll find all them now being calibrated and calculated in Super Vets. iRacing, or not iRacing, Sim Racer Hub just has a couple of little distinct issues with penalty points and race positions. So we're just
I'm
at the
pretty
moment.
sure there's an appeal happening as well.
Yeah, there's a few of them about as well.
Yep.
That's from last night. We haven't got through this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, before Pete does those points, he has to wait for the appeal process to go through, which is usually 24 hours after the penalty points are listed.
Oh,
That's
Jeff.
so easy to do.
yeah.
Give it a power down with some steering locks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked like he had damage on the front end too, on the front right, sorry. Might have caused a bit of tyre degradation.
And answer your question with Dave, Dave Baldock saying there, the points are in Sim Racer Hub. Dave Coleman is putting them in there still, just so we've still got the tally count of how many races people have done and total points and all that sort of stuff. But just to
John,
keep...
once again.
Yep, sorry.
So once again, can I trouble you to bring up the pit strategy with the
Yep.
timing box, and we can just have a look and see. Because I see Mr. Chin he's a good 2 seconds up the road.
We just changed time.
Only because these are battling though, Bruce. You
That's
know.
what I want to look at the timing
Yeah.
box. So he 20. I can't quite read that.
26.1, 28.2, 37 seconds for Sheppy.
Yeah, so you can see they've all run along. Yeah, you can see the difference on my strategy, for example, and same with Mr. Visser as well, the early stoppers going through. So it's interesting to see. Meanwhile, back some good action happening in the background through turn 2.
Yeah, that's what's allowing Jason just to give some clean laps in and get away.
Yeah.
Or Pete goes well wide.
Yeah, so notice Jason just almost pulled out a second, I think, while this battle's going on behind.
Well, there's 3 of them in the mix now, so...
This is the famous words of Monty Python, run away! That's what he's probably thinking at the moment.
Yeah, Matt Stoyers driving well. Hanging on to the back of these boys.
Yeah, only just.
Of course, I'd imagine he's getting a bit of coaching from Scotty Weston and Heels.
Ooh, shit, on the brakes really, really late. Smoke there.
Door opens.
Yeah, once you sort of got out of the draft, out of a little draft pack, it's just really hard to keep up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. You sort of had to be where he is now to really take advantage. If you were that, second back or so, or 0.9 back even, along the straights, you didn't really make it up.
Yeah.
I think if you were able to, there would have been a lot more positions gained from backmarker drivers and other drivers that were coming through.
At this point, I was thinking, John, 10 seconds? Really? Is that far in? Like I said, I took my pain early.
Well, I was surprised by the race pace, actually, as well.
Pretty quick.
Probably wasn't as quick as what I thought it would be. I was probably expecting to be a little bit quicker. Like I looked at the lap times on the Supervet sheet this morning, and I think I had the third fastest lap time during the race, and I was like, that can't be right.
Oh, there's so much variation in Supervets at a track like this, because there's toe, not toe, there's rubbered in track versus not rubbered in track. So when the sessions are open for like 8 to 10 hours, the times really aren't. Because we noticed it because we were on late, because we were always on late with the boys. and we sort of basically went from the end of Wednesday night into Thursday, and you can really notice back to back like that. You can really notice the drop in grip. Session trailer.
There you go.
Yeah, Sheppy's on the run this time.
Yeah. He tries to go the outside this time, by the look of it. Again, drag race down into turn 1. It was a bit of a classic.
Pass around out the outside is possible. I did it at one point last night. You got to trust the guy you're passing, though.
Yeah.
Pete Kelleher, I think he was in a fighting battle all night, I think.
Oh, they would have been sweating. They would have had to have been sweating. No relaxing.
Yeah.
And you can tell they're fighting too. Like if you're just sort of cruising, then you'll be just holding your lines, you know, not moving offline. But they're definitely playing with each other, so to speak.
Dunny, he's tucked right up behind Andrew Galley. Bit of a loose one in front for Brendan Zatera.
Oh, that was lucky.
that could have been a safety car.
Look, considering how fast you come out of the second Lesmo, that was just,
Well, they could have slowed you down a bit more for me. Jeez.
But poor old Dunny, he'd done all the hard yards to get past Andrew Galley.
And you've just gone, thank you.
Yep.
Open, close.
Yep.
I must admit, Mike and I, we did that at Bathurst. There was definitely a 2-for-1 up Griffins at one point in that race.
Yeah.
But this was representative of the whole night, right? There's just battles everywhere. And clean battles too. It wasn't sending and bumping. Everyone was giving space.
At this point, Mike Coroleff's up 27 positions.
Don't underestimate the Korolev.
Possibly could have been the biggest mover at this stage, obviously. But
so a fun fact about round 1, because we've also got Pete Baxter in this split, who's the chief steward for the Pro Series, and Mike Korolev's the head of race control, and then myself. All three of us had penalties in round 1, which was quite funny. quite well discussed in the race control channel for the Pro Series.
When the helmet comes on.
And then, of course, I had a protest, which I managed to upheld. And the grief I got from Peter Baxter for that. So, out for race control. If I'm ever in a protest again, Peter Baxter's offering his time to join the race control boys to help him out.
See, no doubt Mike would have painted that car.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can see at least our red paint, we don't look like a Player 1 car anymore.
Yeah.
Right, just jump back. Anita's up 11 spots in 22nd. Putting a fair bit of pressure on Jeff at the moment. Driving very well this evening.
It sounded like they were having fun too, on the little banner that you had on the radio.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a
Which is
good
what it's all about.
couple of... It was good battles. Like, you look at the timesheet, there's battles everywhere through the pack at the moment. Sort of wonder back.
1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. Yeah, it was really good.
And then jump onto my favourite Dutchman, Mr. Sholton. He's again another one battling away with Richo. Marshy's up 3 spots in the 25th. Di's up 4 in the 28, so she's doing relatively well.
The other big thing I noticed about this time back at Monza, because I think the last race I did here was a GTE endurance, like almost a year ago, like a serious race. The track limits had changed so much, and I went back and I was watching Madison Downs' track guide from 2021, season 3, I think. And it's like, back then it's like, go over this curb, go over this curb. It's like, no, because it's gone from centerline off track to 4-wheel off track. So through Ascari and through turn 1, turn 2, you couldn't take anywhere near as much as you used to be able to.
Yeah, I've found that in turn one a couple of times where I sort of went in too wide, and it was like, hang on, I got a 0.9 drop slow down. It's like, never got that before on that line.
Yeah, it's very minimal, isn't it? Like you only have to be a slight bit out. I found that too.
And that was one of the good things about Active Reset. I spent probably about 2 hours just learning the limits through those corners. And then in the race, I completely ignored them and went narrow.
Oh,
Darren's off for a little spin through the second Lesmo.
Yeah, that's definitely out of the cycle. The sand pits are definitely off track.
Yeah.
I love how it leaves your tracks now too, so you can tell that someone's been out there.
Might just jump back up and see how Pete's getting on at the moment. So he's still under a fair bit of pressure from Sheppy.
So looks like Jamie's closing in Jason at the front.
They're slowly starting to reel that in. It's just over a second at the moment.
But Peter and Wayne are definitely battling on. And Matt looks like he's looking to join the party. Andrew Galley up 15 spots. Having a good run. Not sure where his pits puts in, but...
Mike Korolev, he's made it to the top 10.
Yeah, don't underestimate Mike as well. I can see Mike and I can see Bruce's name behind me at this stage, and I'm going, oh shit, did I bugger my strategy? And I kept looking at Bruce, who put it on lap 5, going, surely he's got to stop soon. Surely he's got to stop soon.
I just got past my... Oh, no, yes, okay, Mike and I just battling. I think that was when the turn 1 passed, because I just got past and he got past again. So, yeah, I think I went around the outside in turn 1 when he got me on the exit, I think.
Squiggly on the exit there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, had a couple of those, for sure.
Kind of difficult in one respect. You can't follow the car in front too close, otherwise you just miss the apex completely, because you just can't see it.
So here, I'll just play my hand. In this particular race, I've no intention of passing unless it's a really obvious move, but I'll move the car around to make it look like I am. So Mike's taking a tight line here. Comes out wide. I never really thought I got nailed Parabolica all night.
No.
Even though when you got it right, but I found this with the tyres and the setup is really, and I always a bit too early on throttle, struggling to get it out.
Yeah, I think I found I got up into 4th fairly early to try and control it for most of it, but then they didn't really give you the drive you needed to be over the back of someone.
Yeah, it felt sluggish.
Mm.
I think this is it. Yeah, this is the.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, have a look at the braking on. Who was that? That was Sean
Slater. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you got to be able. That's where you got to be able to trust. I got a bit of wheel spin coming out. But yeah, that's the sort of battles we're having all night, right? It's clean. Trusting each other, giving each other room. Yet no quarter given.
Yeah, Slater just slotted it up there. He lost that position.
He did.
He got a good run up turn 1 though.
He did, but not fussed at all. Like he's made the move. Just roll out of the throttle, let him take it, live to fight the next lap around.
And Pete
Still
Keller.
15 laps to go at this point. Plenty of time. Meanwhile, at the front.
Sheppy and Pete still going toe to toe.
Because there can be a big advantage sitting in behind as well, with fuel saving and going the undercut.
Rob Viz's just had a bit of Donofsky as well. Sheppy,
think about it.
Yeah, he kept starting to show his nose a bit here.
Yeah.
Pete had always had that very tight line coming out of the Parabolica.
You see how much they cut the curb there? It was a very fine line, how far you went over that.
Yeah, you had to be very careful.
Well, I don't. The front runners may have, but yeah, lap traffic was really good too, as we can see now.
Yeah, was perfect, I thought.
Made a lot of difference because obviously there wasn't a lot of time at Sandown to make the overtake and get out of the way, but here there was more time for that to happen and be done, safely, so to speak.
And Jamie's just jumped in and joined us as well. How are you, Jamie?
Oh, hi, boys. Thanks for having me.
That's all right.
Yeah, thought I'd hop in.
Jason Dunn under a lot of pressure from Andrew Galley now.
You're almost hopping away with the lead, Jamie. What do you think at this point with Jason out in front?
Oh, look, to be honest, I was sort of just staying within that second and saving fuel. I was even rolling off a little bit and just trying to hunt him down slowly instead of, all within one lap.
So Pete was the first of the front runners to blink on lap 22, which is a strategy split. Now we've got you here, Jamie. I've got some serious questions to ask. And I think it is pretty serious. At least going into the pictures ain't going to help the cause here. What's the answer with this, mate? Adrian Zeal's bonnet.
Oh, who knows? I think he's he's awkward. Oh, he's always up for a laugh.
It's a classic.
I love it.
The
It's a little bit of fun between us.
The unzipping of Jamie Peters.
Yeah. And you never know what he's up to until, you turn something on and, yeah, he's good value.
Yeah, he's a funny bugger.
Yeah.
He sends me a lot of messages over the journey. Always up for a laugh.
Well, he got us in. He got me in here. So, and ever since I've joined this league, it's been great fun. I try not to take it too seriously, but it's hard not to sometimes. But yeah, I'm having a ball.
It's good to hear.
We see Mike Korolev just quickly. He on lap 21 was up to 30 positions.
Up in the top 10 now.
Pretty impressive effort, that.
So have you got him sitting in your Discord channel, Brenton?
We do, absolutely we do, yeah. And we learn plenty off him. Not for anything to do with racing, but still learn plenty off him.
So Mike obviously had a bit of a moment because he was ahead of me and sort of walked away, and then now he's a couple seconds back. So there's definitely something going on.
Yeah, because he was almost up to 8th there where you are now, but a couple of laps back.
You mean 7? No, 6.
Now you're in 6, yeah.
McLeod's in 6.
Yeah,
I'm going. Hit John.
Look at that, he's 23. I'm going. I still got another 7 laps or 8 laps.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
I'm thinking Pit Bruce.
I think that was going on everywhere. It's like, is he going to, or am I? Is he going to, or am I?
Well, I'll be honest about this stage. I'm starting to think, knowing that I'd filled longer, I'm starting to think to myself, do I go for the extra point?
Verstappen.
Yep.
So one thing I found out last week, because I got the fastest lap and I was very disappointed to actually read the rules and realise you only get it for the top 10.
Yep.
Does that apply for laps led as well? You only get the laps led point if you finish in the top 10, or do you get those
anyway? So if you lead lap 1 and get punted off on lap 2 and don't race don't get to your 75% race distance,
you still
see at the point, yeah.
Thou shalt not tow without being approved.
Exactly.
one came down heavy from the chief steward.
Yeah, definitely.
Apparently there was somebody in one of the other splits as we see Bruce finally peel off. And no, he faked it. Mike did.
That's my normal line, to be honest. Just trying to minimise the distance through that corner.
Yeah, cut a long story short, it definitely is something I thought cross in my mind to go for that extra point at this stage. I'm thinking I'm sitting fourth. I knew I still had about another 5-6 laps to go. And I'm thinking these boys in front have got a pit.
See, at this point, I made one mistake because I was looking at data when I should have been. I'm looking, where do they pit? How long do they? In my head, I'm going, how long would they pit for? What's their likely fuel load? Trying to do all this on the fly. It's just ridiculous.
I think at this time of the race, we're all trying to use what we've got, and it's time to get on with it for a few laps before we've got a pit. That was my move.
For me, low fuel was nice. Tyres were not really starting to go south at this point.
Yeah. I was riding on that strategy. I just spent a good 10 laps sitting in that slipstream of Galley and Dunn in that group. So now I was quite comfortable. The tyres were there. The fuel was there. I didn't overcook stuff to drag Sheppy in.
The other thing is I have a homemade relative where I see distance but not names.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the car in front of me going, how did I catch John? And then I went, oh, fuck, that's not John.
You're having the Mustang this season, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
So how is your Mustang season going against David Bulldog?
Well,
is it proving right though?
You're going to have to wait till this week's release of Dave Bulldog's V8 Vets magazine. I think you might find that the score now is 0-3, but still a long way to go. They haven't got to the end of the championship yet. That's probably the story of that one. And just with the Mustang, I've got to say it's been fantastic so far. 3 tracks, 3 PBs. I'm pretty happy.
All along, John. Maybe I should swap to the Holden. I tried that once for Phillip Island, and that just was horrible. So I changed straight back to the round after.
It's been an interesting experiment, and yeah, I'll keep going for the season. I said I'd do it for the season and then reassess, but definitely been an interesting experiment. Like, I think you do see a little bit more and just feel a little bit more vision out of the Mustang, I think.
Oh, you don't have the massive mirror in your head, in a way.
Yeah.
All the 7 Holden logos. if you count the windscreen in reverse as one, it's 7 of them.
That's all right. My brother's not talking to me, but that's another story. So Fletcher's up 18 spots into 4th now. And Matt Stiles is in, or Stiles. Jamie Peters is the leader of our 2 stoppers.
So I think what's interesting here, John, is you can see that my strategy at this point has got me up to P2. But you can see the delta between us is the difference in pace. So you can see I had a good strategic brain, but I just didn't have the pace that I needed.
Yeah, it seemed like at this point we were trying to figure out where everybody was as far as their pit stops. It took a couple of laps to just figure out who you were really racing on track.
Yeah, well, that was, like, I know for my strategy, that was the scary thing, because, like, to go with that longer fill, I knew I wasn't going to be racing with the people I was racing with in this stint.
Yep.
Yeah, it was quite a bizarre feeling in that sense.
Yeah, and I think I did a short fill on the first one, just to get in a different group. So I was probably sitting behind somebody who was a little bit faster. It's always a gamble, but it seemed to work.
The
That's probably what I should have done, Jamie. I got stuck with Pete Kelleher, and we were reasonably well matched and just couldn't make ground on each other.
Yeah, it was hard, but gee, you had a good race.
Yeah, loved it. Yeah, it's bloody good fun. I don't know whether my mic's any good. My headset just blew up, so I've had to change everything.
No, you're loud and clear.
Beauty.
And I'm into the pits, so
And I'm still going.
you're still going.
And
You had a
after
good run
the,
last night, John.
Yeah, just got into a groove in the second stint, and like I said, I sort of deliberately sort of got myself where I was sitting behind sort of Jason Dunn and Andrew Galley, and I just got into a groove sitting behind them, and sort of set me up for the rest of the race.
Yeah, nice.
And then there's a good little battle coming up with Pete Kelleher and Matt Stoyles heading to the end, which made it really interesting and almost pulled it
Matt
off.
done really well.
Yeah, Matt did very well.
And so just there, as I went across the line, you could see the difference the tyres make. So I did a 51. You guys were doing a 49s, so it was just hurting for tyres at this point.
He'd gone a long way. Basically driven over half race distance with a set of tyres.
Well, I'm doing Petit Le Mans tomorrow, so I thought I would need to practice.
It has made it interesting with the the extremely quick boys like Stone Street out of it. So I'm glad I'm still in split 3.
Yeah, me too. He was just in a league of his own. So was Dave Arney as well.
Hey.
They were very close.
Oh, look.
I do enjoy the fact that I out-qualified him once. It's a small win, but I'll take it.
Yeah, look, he's done well to get himself straight to split 1 from split 3. I'll admit that. And definitely trying to find his way up there, which is going to be interesting to see how he goes, but he's quick enough.
Yeah, I watched one of the split 1 races the other day. Definitely for sheep stations, isn't it?
There was a good battle going on at this point in time between Jason Dunn back there in 18th and Darren Walden, Shane Patterson.
Where's Dunny? I've lost him. There it is. Yep.
Yeah, how'd you find split 1, Mike?
Yeah, pretty good actually. I ranked 36.
Out of 36?
No, Jason Chin actually. I beat Jason Chin because he jumped in there too.
I was wondering what happens with that if someone accidentally goes in the wrong split. Does that actually block out someone that should be in there legitimately?
No, every track we're racing at this season holds 60 cars.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not really an issue.
How does Sandown hold 60 cars, honestly? Oh, that's not the way around turn 1.
1 per square metre.
Pato parked in the corner there.
Yeah, he was under pressure.
Hmm.
Dunny had him like heavily under pressure.
So I've managed after that second stop. I sort of went into that first one. So I went into that second stop with Zatera and Galley, or before the Zatera and Galley, and I'm now 10 seconds in front of them because of that fuel strategy working.
So look how tight we are in time. So that 15 seconds or so you're ahead of me, John. That's the difference between you being in P7 and me being in P13.
Yeah. And Pete Kelleher chasing down Matt Stoyles.
It's definitely a good chance to learn some stuff in this split 3 because you find out things about fuel strategy and you know, that little bit of time sitting behind a car that you know, trying to pass, I would have probably been better off pulling and pitting rather than hounding Pete for so long.
Yeah, it's a tough call. You know, sitting behind him, you can save fuel, look after your tyres, so that when he does peel in, you might have a lap or 2 laps more on him, and the tyres are still okay, so you can really push for those 2 laps and pass him in the pits that way. You know, so there's plenty to think about.
That was a big curb strike too by Matt. It's a wonder he didn't get a slowdown there.
You can take the first one pretty decent. It's that second one that does the damage, I think.
Yeah. I had a bit of a tussle with Peter, and I think he's someone you either want to get around quickly, but yeah, I was lucky to get past him and move off him pretty quick. But I'm sure that's what you were thinking too, Shepo. But sometimes it's not that easy.
No, he's a tough one.
Because he's fast.
And he's happy to go. He's happy to duck into some pretty interesting spots when you you think you've got him. Yeah.
It's interesting how that's shaken out, right? Because Chinny was, you know, right up the front with a good couple of second lead for most of the race, and here the way the strategy's shaken out, it's back in 4th.
Yeah, I tried to see what happened to him, whether he had a bit of a mistake coming into pit lane or something like that, because he just sort of disappeared.
Turn 1, he had a bit of a mishap and went wide in the second part of the chicane.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, so he's gone for a longish, not too long, middle stint. Mr. Hughes has gone super long. He's only done 1 stop so far.
I think that's all he does.
I think he might have confessed actually.
Marty drove very consistently last night. He was really spot on.
He was.
I did see that lack of something in the data. I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't sure.
I think he's, you know, brought that up in the stream.
Let's just say one of my secondary jobs of the broadcast is actually to look at the pit count in SDK.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He sort of was somewhere, and I couldn't quite figure out why he was there. And now it all makes sense.
So 1 stop does work.
Well, I think it was only 1 litre was all you really needed to save to make it work.
Yeah.
A 1 stop.
That's what I saw. And that's easy here.
I wonder how many... Sorry, Bruce.
Let's let the colour battle packs go on here, because I noticed me and Sean, this is we were battling from here right to the end. At this point out, I can see Brendan and Fletcher battling as well. Jason and Darren as well. So all these little 2-car packs, all just trying to shake it out up and down the grid.
Pete's been all over the back of Matt for a fair while.
And that was that.
That was that, yep. And
I was
that's
going to say he's going a lot better since he's got him orange or tennis ball green. But I'll take that thought back.
And it's brought Pete back into someone else's clutches. And 2 wide here. And he's going to go back to Matt Stoyles. Oops.
Might's in, Yowie.
Sean Slater.
So after getting released by Pete, Matt's just allowed himself to get picked back up again. So this turned into a great little 3-way battle.
No Gunter tonight because the door was just left open.
That's why we're having a G-rated conversation.
Seems a bit more kosher.
He's over in South Australia doing some track training, driver training stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think this
Marilla?
weekend he's at Malala, yeah.
Yeah. Any South Australians? I know that Baldock and Galley are heading out there. Sorry, not Galley, and Drage are heading out there tomorrow.
Yeah, I would, but I'm flying out to Queensland for Sunday early morning, so...
So 3 left to go. John Van Ree all over the back.
Yeah. I think this is...
And spoils.
Yeah. I think this is the lap it all goes wrong, but anyway.
No, it all goes right, John. All goes right. Positive thinking. You'll make it happen.
Where's Photoshop video editor when you need it?
You can just race ends on lap 32 and we're done.
It's over. This is the cool down lap.
You do look good in a Mustang, John.
This was a great little battle, this, at the end here. Like, I was just comfortably thinking I was going to ride behind these boys a second and a bit back. And then both of them making a mishap. All of a sudden, it was a bit of a three-way battle with my newer tyres. And there's waiting for these two guys to fight in front of me.
I heard in the talk about Gen 3 with the Camaro, apparently its vision is like ridiculous out the front, even compared to the Commodore. So I hope it's what it's like. Oh, he's making a move. No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not.
I was doing the Jason Dunn show my nose trick on that lap.
Yeah.
I reckon Pete wouldn't have been looking backwards anyway. His eyes would have been glued on Matt, I think. Yeah, it's a beautiful car in the background, Dave.
I have my virtual
Pete,
mirror mapped to a button. I'm going to turn it off tomorrow because I crashed twice last year at the Petite Along looking in the mirror.
so nice overtake there by Pete.
Yep. So it's going to sniff. What's he going to do?
You got the run.
Yeah, definitely.
Can he use it? He's going to try.
I wasn't game enough to push him too much, so I got to slow down for that one.
Oh, Jay.
And a little bit of wheel spin. It's like, well, that's one way to get rid of a slowdown.
Yeah, true.
So I'd already hottened up the tyres there.
It's a question on the slowdowns. What's the right? Is it adequate or do we not care? Is it okay for you to park it on the apex and slow run behind you while you serve it, or should you jump? Thoughts? Or do we just...
I had a couple, and thankfully they sort of, if you're lost a bit in the beginning, you could sort of just bleed it out a little bit, and try and cover.
Here we go. Pete's gone wide here. Just a little bit on the first Lesmo. I think the correct etiquette really is try and make sure you don't do it in someone else's way. This is the first time I've watched this, so
you don't know what happens.
I know what happens, but it's the first time I've watched it.
Henry's on the outside.
A little bit of wheel spin just there. That loss of wheel spin. That little bit of wheel spin, that's all it was. Wasn't much in it.
You got a bit squirrely there, John.
Yeah.
Drag race now.
I'm going to say, though, it's all fair, clean racing, though.
Yeah.
I'd be squeezing.
Oh.
Bye-bye. See ya.
We know you would, Mark.
Yeah, I would be squeezing Pete over.
Mark, quick question. Did you
That was a great little battle.
Did you happen to have a bit of contact with someone in the practice?
No.
Didn't happen?
No, Bulldog was giving me grief when I was doing some practice laps, and I let him go, and I pulled back in front of someone, and didn't even see him coming.
I thought two things. One, should we start calling it the unsafety car? Or the second thing is that someone the comment was, are you starting to practice for next season already?
Well, a little bit of that.
Or is someone else out there driving to be perfect?
Yeah.
By hitting the safety car.
Literally last lap at this stage.
Literally, yeah.
Well, you could do worse. You could hit the broadcaster.
You got to be guaranteed some airtime.
Yeah, that's right. Guaranteed
Sick.
it. Oh, so that's what you guys in Split 2 should do, is go out and get Will Munro. You'll get airtime.
So in the end, is it a 1.7 second lead or is it a 3.4 second lead?
1.9, 2 seconds now to Hughes, and then 7 seconds back to Chin.
That's a
Yeah,
nice
my
effort,
heart
maybe.
rate was, God, it's amazing how you can be doing this and your heart rate feels like you're climbing up Mount Everest. When you get that first win, it's
Well
nerve-wracking.
deserved.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, well done, Jamie.
Done well.
No, still one to go. This is the last lap.
Oh, is it?
Oops.
Yeah, you
Anything could happen.
34 quite nicely.
Oh, we got you out there on watching the broadcast. Yeah, we just thought we'd trick you.
I think on the last couple of laps, Marty got real close. So, yeah, the nerves were high.
He was pushing. I was hoping for about 2 or 3 more laps as I was hounding Marty.
It's definitely not the thing to watch this time of the race, but Sean Slater and I, we had a battle like literally for the last 5 laps. Just going hammer and tongs the whole way around. Loved it.
Yeah, it was.
He's a hard racer too.
Yeah, he's very tidy too.
Oh, we were very fair. Both of us. It was good.
The same with myself and Darren Walden. Yeah, hats off to Darren. We had a really close few laps at the end there. Just managed to pip him though. To get back to 16th after dropping to 38th.
So I had to pull a few tricks. I
good.
definitely, going into this parabolic ride, definitely made sure that he wasn't going to get a run on me. Slowed it right up at the apex and kept him under control.
Well, we can see what the podcast will be all about tomorrow night.
But now I can say congratulations, Jack.
Yeah, well done, Jamie.
You have completed lap 35.
Marty Hughes crosses the line in second. Sheppy in third.
Nice drive, Wayne.
Jason,
Yeah, cheers, mate. It's
Jason
good fun.
Chin, next man to come home. So he managed to get himself home, which I think what will be a podium. Pete Keller here in fifth. Matty Stiles in sixth. Seventh was myself. Brandon Zatera ended up eighth with a little bit of a whoopsie on lap 34 from Galley. Puts him back a little bit, which has allowed Christensen and Korolev up 28 spots into the top 10.
Wow.
Great drive from Mike. Andrew Galley up 10 for 11. Bruce ended up 12th. Sean Slater was up 16 in 13th. Jason Dunn ended 14. Neil 15. Mike was 16. Darren 17. It's coming around the corner still. Nick Hasler, after the fun start that he had,
That was a good recovery.
great recovery. Get himself back up to 18th. And Clapham was 19th. And it looks like Pato just snuck past Jeff Sanford to finish in the top 20. So that was a really good, fun, clean race. Oh, I really enjoyed that one. Let's jump back on the Jamie and quieten it down. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was a really good one. As the man, the myth, the legend, Jamie, well done, mate. And
Yeah, thanks very much.
how did you find that one?
Considering you sort of expect the worst coming to this track, first lap it could all, end. So to get through this one and get a win, which I didn't expect, stoked. And obviously the first win, even since I've done sim racing, haven't really had many ever. So yeah, really, really stoked with that.
Of course, Sheppy in behind you. Yeah, if you'd be happy with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, mate. I missed a couple of opportunities, but happy with the third any day. It was good fun. Quite enjoyed chasing down Marty, and had a good run with Jason Chin earlier on, and then of course Pete Kelleher, the nemesis. It's a tough cookie, that one.
Any sponsors you boys want to give a shout out to?
The Simrigs guys, mate. They're really, really helpful bunch. Of even before got associated with them, they've been helping out us with a couple of problematic bits of hardware. They're, top gentlemen. Really good of them to come along and help out.
It's pretty cool. Next week, lads, we're continuing on. Next week, we are at the Legacy Silverstone Circuit, and we are racing the historic layout. So for those who don't know what the historic layout is, it is the pre-1992 layout. I like to claim it as it is pre-Senna, Senna's death. So for us oldest vets boys, we'll know that layout and remember the great Ayrton racing around there and cleaning up many times. I think it's going to be sensational coming
it's
through.
The best layout.
Yeah,
best layout
suits the car. Yeah, suits the car too.
Yeah, it doesn't have the Abbey chicane basically out of the old Silverstone layout. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an awesome track to race on.
And you can thank Rob Chrisdale for most of this season. He was one that put the draft calendar together. He went with most of his ideas, so you can thank him for that one. I won't be able to make it next week, and I'm a bit gutted because I really do like old Silverstone. Even the national layout on the current track is really good as well. But hopefully it'll provide more racing like this week, where there's plenty of wide track, lots of straights, and lots of good, clean passing opportunities.
And so that makes 2 racecraft cars out next week because I'll be in Queensland.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer.
There'll be no racecraft cars, no shadow cars in the
in
split through next week.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
my daughter's birthday, so I can't miss that one.
I'll tell you who did have a really good time. Greg would have had a great time.
Yeah.
To be honest, he needed a holiday after Sandown, poor guy.
Well, I think that's who, while I'm here, I'd love to have a shout out to Greg for all his work, because we need a guy like him that keeps cool, because, there's a lot for him to obviously go through.
Yeah.
And he just does a mega job. And yeah, I don't think many people would be able to put up with, trying to manage that amount of stress.
It is a tough
being
gig.
thrown at him. So yeah, awesome on his behalf.
It's not just Greg though, of course. Greg is the voice, but Mr. Mark Dial, who's here in chat with us, and Anthony Dismal also
in there
out a lot. So,
Yeah.
I can tell you, Greg's not that cool. Where's going off? But yeah, he does certainly make it sound cool when he gets on the radio. He can calm down pretty quickly.
Well, you could tell in his voice last night after the race had finished that he actually had a good time, because he was a lot lighter and happier.
Oh, look.
Well, he didn't get that high pitched note the first time I heard it. He definitely inflated a little bit there.
And he had a good brief at the start too, because he said, I don't know if anybody was listening last time, but I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Management's instructed me to throw the book.
At least he didn't have to do what I had to do in my other league, which is I had to do double points on lap 1 because people were just killing each other so much.
Well, we thought that's what he meant, to be honest. I thought, it's double points, Dave.
Double demerit points for naughty boys.
Yeah, when I saw poor old Nick Hoosler go off, I thought, oh no, that poor guy, he's the one.
The lead book's coming out.
Yeah.
I did love the response. I'll save you the trouble. I'll just take my drive through now. Don't even bother looking at it.
Yeah, I know. Poor guy. Because he got a bit of bad luck at Bathurst too. So he's been unlucky.
Yeah, no, he did well. It's great to see Greg have a cleaner sheet than what we've done previously, because I think the way we drove last night is really how we should always be racing split 3. I think, like we said, there's plenty of tough racing, but we all gave each other room and we're pretty good about it all.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I had a bit of rubbing with Pete there at one stage. There was nothing in it. It was just a bit of paint, and I thought, oh, great. That was just enough room.
That's what you want.
Yeah, sorry, that's what Silverstone will probably be like. It's a bit wider track, a bit more flowy too.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good track.
Oh, yeah, she's a beauty.
The one after it, not so much. Because every season has a street circuit, and we alternate between Belle Isle and Long Beach, and we had Belle Isle last season, so you know the Long Beach is coming up.
And
Long
Concrete
Beach.
jungle.
Oh, Jesus. No one's going 3 wide into turn 2 there.
And of
It's
course,
not going to be night time, is it?
No, and the official calendar also had Chicago in it, but we made sure that went to the end of the season, so we didn't have to race it or try and race it in Vets because we can't.
yeah, we played the smart card there, which I was pretty happy with. Can't complain about that one.
Brings out a lot of desperation, that sort of track, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. And then Laguna Seca will be another interesting one because that's another tough one to pass on.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic track.
But it's a driver's track. It's good.
It's a tricky one to get into a flow. Yeah. But once you get it, you really need to get into the groove of that track.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Otherwise, it's just painful.
That turn on to Rainer Straight, it's a killer.
It is. It is very much a killer of a track in that sense. And then after that, we're off to Miami, which I think will be interesting because I've never raced at Miami before. So it'll be interesting to see how everybody goes racing there. So looking forward to that. Just quickly trying to do something because we just talked
That'll
about.
almost be a virgin track for most, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So
there was 2 rivals to choose from. There was Miami and there was, what was the other one? Las Vegas. And Las Vegas was nice, except there's one small part of the track which is basically like driving single file through a cattle gate.
Oh.
And I sort of went, no, I don't want to be the one responsible for making people die in this gate. Because literally, as you go from the oval into the infield, you have to go through a gate. It literally is a gate that you go through, and it feels like it's basically a cattle gate width. It's just definitely single file, and people would definitely have died there. So it's like, unfortunately, that sort of took Las Vegas off the option list.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. And then after Miami, we're off to Jerez on the moto circuit, which I think the moto circuit will be a really great layout to race on. I just found previously when we raced on the first race we did there, where we were sort of coming and going in and out of the, what do you want to call it? So the center chicane, it just felt so out of place on the circuit flow, where I think not having that chicane will really open that track up for some good racing.
Yeah, and that's us just following Scops. Again, I think Scops for that layout.
Yeah. So. And then we're off to Hockenheim with the outer circuit, so we don't have, I think it's the Mercedes section that we go through. And then we finish with an enduro at Road America. So the enduro is going to be an absolute belter, I think. That place.
Wow. Is that another chance for Dave Bulldog to kill the whole field?
Dave doesn't do that.
Roll the dice.
Road America, that's a great track.
Hopefully, Road America, the grass up the hill won't kill you, because that's what killed me last time, is put a wheel on the grass going up under the bridge up the hill. And I tested it just straight off the patch, and it was fixed it, but they've dulled the grass back since, so we'll see how it ends up.
That'll be very interesting.
Should be good. Like Road America's a great track. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to stall time. It's a photo I saved this morning didn't work.
I was going to say, have we stole enough for you, John?
No, well, we were talking about road circuits and talking about Belle Isle, and Ed Cullen had sent me a photo. He received a package from Gunter.
Oh, that photo.
That photo, yeah, of the trophy, which I was going to show, but it's not saving across my phone onto my network. So anyway, I'll bring that for next time, unless you've got it handy.
I can give me 1 second. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Let's go scroll up, and I'll ping it across in chat.
Yeah. Ping it across.
So just looking at early practice times for Silverstone, I've seen Dean Flavel was on a 1:40.3.
Geez, that's quick already.
Yeah. It's just in the opening session.
Yeah, it definitely going to be a fast track, and like I said, it's open and flows, and there's not many super slow spots that you've got to contend with. So yeah, really looking forward to that, and just looking forward to seeing how everyone goes, because it is an easy layout to learn, but a hard layout to master.
In your
Bruce
DM, John.
Yep, I got it now. Oh no, that's just, I got another one. We'll do a special next week. I'll have all photos all lined up. So I've got that T-shirt as well. That's my version turned up at the lunch I had with Dave on Monday. Of course, the old Gunter, first tap's a warning, second tap you're off shirts are now out in public. It's scary.
I wasn't a culprit tonight.
Anyway, on that note, we might wrap this one up because we've probably talked too much. We've probably taken half of Hamish's topics for the podcast, which you'll do tomorrow night. And then, of course, we have on Sunday night, Split 2 broadcast. And I'd say from the stories I've heard, there'll be plenty of action in that one and some good hard racing as well. So make sure you tune to that. And, of course, we'll all be back next week because we've talked up Silverstone. So you're all going to have to come back now and watch it. So on that note, I want to thank everyone out in the chat for listening and watching and contributing, typing in. Want to thank all the drivers. I want to thank all the race directors and stewards. They've done a sensational job. Also want to thank the league administrative team and committee, and of course want to thank all the guys that have jumped in the chat tonight. Had a chat with me. We've had Brenton O'Brien, Bruce McLeod, Dave Arney, Jamie Peters, Mark Dial, Michael Yeo, Wayne Shepherd. Had some good conversations, some good chats, and seen some good racing. So it's been really enjoyable, boys. Thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
No worries.
And
Thank you, John.
on that note, we'll say good night and see everybody again next week. Not all.
Yep. See you, Doris.
Yeah,
See you guys.